Shall we begin? Yep. We're all ready. Good morning, everyone. It's lovely to see you here. The wonderful song that was played just now, Oh, What a Beautiful Morning. Perfect, isn't it? Absolutely perfect. I just want to introduce myself first. My name is Faye, and I'm an interfaith minister. And I don't live in Brighton, but I come to Brighton occasionally to do services here. I'm a friend of Susie's, a close friend of Susie's. And it's always a great honour to be with you. You're a wonderful crowd. And you always make me feel very welcome. And I feel that you really join together and respond. So I'm going to light the chalice to begin with. I'm lighting this chalice, just as the chalice is being lit in many places around the world at various times today, to signify the oneness of Unitarianism, to signify the radical freedom of belief that is held within this community, which is rare in the world. And I feel really honoured to be able to light this chalice that says all are welcome here. So thank you. So, oh, what a beautiful morning. And the theme today is joy. Joy. Joy is not quite, I can't quite find the words for what joy is, because it's a felt thing, isn't it? It's something we feel in our entire bodies when we feel joyous. And it's not quite the same as happiness. Maybe we'll come to the difference between them as we go along today, I don't know. But and when I speak of joy, and the theme is joy, I'm not saying, okay, so that's all you can feel. You've got to feel joy. Other feelings like sadness and grief don't have an equal place here. But of course they do. Because it is our sadness and our grief and our stress and all those times in life that really stretch us, that stretch our hearts, that open our hearts. And when our hearts become opened and more expansive, then there's more room for joy when it comes along. Of course, we do have the choice not to do that. And I'm sure all of us at some time have not opened our hearts when grief and sorrow comes to us. There are times when we just have to close it off. We're just not ready to really let it in. But when we do let it in, it really does give us more capacity for all the beauty in life, all the love and all the joy. And there's a wonderful piece from Cahill Gibran, the prophet, who I'm sure many of you are familiar with that wonderful, inspirational book, which I'm going to read this to you because he speaks of what I've just been saying. Then a woman said, "Speak to us of joy and sorrow." He answered, "Your joy is your sorrow unmasked. And the self-same well from which your laughter rises was oftentimes filled with tears. And how else can it be? The deeper that sorrow carves into your being, the more joy you can contain. Is not the cup that holds your wine the very cup that was burnt in the potter's oven? And is not the lute that soothes your spirit the very wood that was hollowed with knives? When you are joyous, look deep into your heart, and you shall find it is only that which has given you sorrow that is giving you joy. That's a really interesting last line, isn't it? That's something that I'm still pondering on. So there's a lot of depth in that. When you are joyous, look deep into your heart, and you shall find it's only that which has given you sorrow that is giving you joy. So what is it to be joyful? The reason that I chose joy today was I was speaking to Susie on the phone, and just after many, many, many years of working around with, as some of you know, with the women disciples around Jesus and doing paintings and writing, I just published a set of cards and book. And it was, I could hardly believe that it had actually happened. And Susie had been nudging me for years to get it done. But, you get it done when you're ready. And when I spoke to her on the phone, she said, "Oh, you sound really joyous." I said, "Yeah, okay, that's the subject we'll have then for this service," because we were thinking, well, what could it be? And so it is often we feel joyous at times of celebration, when we feel we've achieved something, or other people that we love have achieved something, or maybe they're getting married, or they've passed their exams. Often it seems to be activated by those things outside us, doesn't it? But there's something about joy that does come from this deep well in here. It comes right from the belly, right from the feet up. It is a kind of bubbling spring joy. It has that energy, doesn't it? I associate champagne with joy. Other people here may not. But it gives me that, it has that bubbling feeling. I mean, afterwards, well, no, it's not too bad afterwards. If it's good champagne. Anyway, we're not here to speak about that. So, yes, why be joyful? As far as I'm concerned, joy is a spiritual practice. And it is so vital that whenever we are able, and we're not always able, but whenever we are able to experience joy within ourselves, and therefore, just by experiencing it, we bring it into the world, because it is contagious. It's like a cold. If you're with someone that is joyous, it's quite hard not to crack a little smile. So I think that's why it's important to be joyous, because there is so much of the opposite in the world. In our own lives, the trials, the ordinary pains of life, both physically in the body, emotionally. Every life is full of pain, isn't it? In all sorts of ways, but it's so full of joy, so full of beauty as well, that it's important that we keep that balance and that we remember that. There's a lovely quote from a Sufi poet, Hafiz, and he says, "You have been to meet the friend. No one can resist the divine invitation. That narrows all your choices down to just two. We can come to God dressed for dancing, or be carried on a stretcher to God's ward." Okay? So 2 choices. We'll get there anyway. We are there anyway, but we'll get there in our own consciousness anyway. But we have a choice of how we get there. And we can make that choice, and people do make the choice in all sorts of difficult situations. I've seen people, you may know people, and you may be the people that have made choices to find those moments of joy. Standing here today with that sun shining through that door in this beautiful space, I just felt the joy coming. And that's one of the things, to be standing still, to take a moment of stillness and allow those moments of joy to actually be felt by us and to inform our nervous systems, to inform our minds and to inform our hearts. Because I have a tendency to rush through life quite often and not stay with those moments of beauty and joy. Oh, look at that lovely, oh yeah, and I'm on. Whereas if I took just a moment just to be with that beauty, then that would make a difference to who I am. And it would make a difference to who people around me are. That is absolutely assured. You know, you're probably thinking, oh, not so-and-so. They'd never cheer up. But you'd be surprised how our energy influences other people. So I'm going to ask Susie to come and do a lovely reading from the Dhammapada, the words of the Buddha on joy.
Oh yeah, joy. Words of the Buddha. Live in joy, in love, even among those who hate. Live in joy, in health, even among the afflicted. Live in joy, in peace, even among the troubled. Look within, be still, free from fear and attachment. Know the sweet joy of living in the way.
That's beautiful, isn't it? And I like it that I just realised that he speaks there of the sweet joy of living in the way. And of course, those of you who may be of a Christian or towards a Christian persuasion will know that the original teachings of those of that great rabbi was known as the way. So, what brings you joy? Have a little think. Have a little think what brings you joy in your life. My grandson, I've only got to think of my grandson and I light up. Well, there's other things. What is it in your life? And maybe if you want to, you don't have to do this, maybe just speak to someone else for a few minutes, just share what brings you joy in life. Maybe very simple things. Maybe that delicious cup of coffee in the morning, particularly if the sun's shining. Yeah, so you want to share with one another. So if you'd like to complete your sharing and make sure everyone's had a go. They're lovely, lovely smiling faces, isn't it? We just bring the subject up. We're ready for it. We're ready to have this experience. We don't allow ourselves. I know that I have to think about, how can I be in Brighton on a sunny day, going out for a picnic lunch, being joyous, when children in Gaza are being unbelievably punished and tortured and killed. And how can I then sit joyfully in Brighton? And then I also say, well, how can I not? It's not about forgetting those things. You're holding that thing at the same time as saying, yes, and the world still has joy in it. Because it doesn't help those suffering to think that everyone in the world is suffering. It helps those suffering to think that there are places in the world where people are walking freely, where children are playing on the beach in Brighton and jumping into the sea. This helps. So it's quite a difficult thing to hold those things, I know, but we can. So I wondered, when you were sharing just now, did anyone surprise themselves about what they were sharing, what made them joyful? Did you get any insights to yourself? No? Yes? Yeah?
Seeing others being happy.
That's wonderful.
Achieving something. Yeah?
Seeing others being happy and achieving something.
And then they carry on. So there's no solution to the problem or whatever. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
To see them happy and achieving something.
That's fantastic. I mean, you've spoken of two things there that do cultivate joy. One is seeing others achieving and being happy. The Buddhists call it sympathetic joy. I'll speak about it a bit more later, but yeah. And the other is helping people out. Now, I don't know the scientific papers on this, but I do believe there are some that have measured, there are some measurements of how it lifts our own moods when we help other people. You know, it's the Course in Miracles says giving and receiving are the same. Oh, there's one thing. Giving and receiving is one. It's not, you know, that kind of exchange. So you've brought us two really important things about cultivating joy. Anyone else? Anyone else want to share anything about what came up for you just now?
I remember I was just telling Jeanette when we had something on joy before, and it was congregation, and I did a little contribution, but I ended up crying so much, but it felt right somehow. You know, I was talking about something that made me joyful, but it brought something else with it.
Yeah.
And I felt a complete twerp.
Well, let me say, madam, if you were in France, particularly in the south, they would say you are a Madeleine, which means Magdalene, because you, when you are touched by grace, then you cry and tears come. So be proud of those tears. You know, we're so ashamed of our tears, aren't we? Yeah, I find it difficult to cry in public. Crazy. I'm trying to get better at that, but when I do weddings and sometimes funerals, I often well up. Anyone? Oh yes, you wanted to say something. Yeah?
I cooked a little ladybird, and a little boy who's having his third birthday asked me to cook his present, and I said, come and choose something. So he came and looked at everything with all kinds of different things, and then he spotted the ladybird and said, I want that. And it gave me such joy.
Oh, yeah.
I was worried that he was damaging, but he didn't have me do something. It was fabulous, little movement for this little chap.
Yeah, so something that you'd created brought joy to him, and that brought joy to you. Wonderful. That's wonderful. And you've reminded me of one of the things that I find just the laughter of small children. Doesn't matter, you don't need to know them. You can just be walking along and you hear that laugh, and it's, one of the things I hear is you have the suffer little children to come unto me, which to me is entirely what the spiritual life is about, is becoming more and more open like a child, able to laugh like that, able to be completely honestly in the world as we are. So yeah, fantastic. Anyone else?
Yeah, I would just say, I've been out with my dad's dog this morning. We went down the beach, and it was just, you were thinking he was 14, like a 2-year-old chasing the ball in the water, out like a yo-yo, and it's just so enjoying it. dogs have so much pleasurable.
Yeah.
Watching enjoy themselves.
Yeah, of course, animals, dogs. So many people get joy from their dogs, don't they? And cats can bring joy if they so feel, if they're in the mood. Let's have one more if anyone else wants to share one more joyous experience. No? Okay. So why don't we sing a joyful hymn? It's number 3 in the Green Book, The Joy of Living. So well, yesterday I went and raided the hedgerows. I don't know if you're actually allowed to do that, but I didn't take that much, and the hedgerows is so abundant at the moment, so full of joy. And so I brought it here. My little raid is on this beautiful tray in the middle. And on the tray as well, there are little pieces of paper with quotations on joy from various spiritual paths and religions. And so I'm going to invite you, we're going to take the tray around, invite you to take a little quote, and invite you to take a flower. And then I'm going to invite you to do something else, but let's do that first. Anybody know a good joke? You can tell a joke.
Okay, so walking in the cliffs, and he slipped. He was an atheist, and he slipped, but hung on to. Do you remember this one? He hung on to a branch that was sticking out of the cliff side, and he said, "God, are you up there? Help me! If you are alive, I'll believe in you. But you have to help me, and then I'll believe in you." And so God said, "Okay, if you really trust me and believe in me, just let go." And so the man said, "Is there anybody else up there?"
Anyone like to? Oh, it's okay. Is anyone like to share when I'm on sure there's something that you'd like to share?
This is from a Kashmiri woman mystic, Lala, 14th century, which I thought was nice in itself. Flowers, sesame seed, bowls of fresh water, a tuft of kusha grass. All this altar paraphernalia is not needed by someone who takes the teacher's words in and honestly lives them. Full of longing in meditation, one sinks into a joy that is free of any impulse to act and will never enter human birth again.
Oh, that's beautiful. It's one of my favourites, actually. Yeah. Anyone else like to? Yeah.
It's a quote from Tagore, and I've been in Tagore's house
Oh,
when I
have
was
you?
in Calcutta, yes. That's what hit me when I read this. I slept and dreamt that life was joy. I awoke and saw that life was service. I acted, and behold, service was joy.
Beautiful. That's a real guiding quote, isn't it? A real guiding quote. Anyone else want to share this? Oh, yes.
Thousands of candles can be lighted from a single candle, and the life of the candle will not be shortened. Happiness never decreases by being shared.
Somehow that's, I heard this in that one in the service, and somehow that seems really important to me. That extraordinary thing, usually when you give, we assume that we're losing something. But that doesn't happen. It's just as when the candle gives its flame to other candles, it doesn't lose its flame. It's just wonderful, isn't it, to think as we give kindness and happiness and love, it actually increases. It feels like it's against all the laws of normal physics. Maybe it's, nuclear physics or something, I don't know, but it's quantum physics. I see somebody at the back there. Do you want to share yours?
I just had an experience when I was away.
Yes, please. Well, I don't know. Do we want it recorded? I mean, do we want it for people out there?
So I can do it from here.
Yeah, okay.
Just very briefly, you will not be away. The teacher, Maria, Southern South Spain, I tried to do the best I could, but trips were cancelled, so what I'm going to do now, and towards the, I walked, I overdid it, I walked and walked, and sadly, one of my toes, so serious, I had to see the pharmacy and get sprayed 3 times a day, but still not right. I was always grounded for the last 3 days, and I was on the 9th floor of a hotel. Now that's quite high up, with towering firs and palm trees. That's how it is there. And basically, although I was kind to everybody, Euros, the chambermaids, they worked so hard. No one would be able to say, can I help you before? So there was in the balcony, doing what I had to do. What else could I do? I'm on my own. And every few minutes, a little sparrow came in. This is the moment of pleasure. This little eye looking at me. And I happened to have a few, always stuff falling out, biscuits and stuff. And all of a sudden, it comes down. And, you know, the little eye, so it's pleasing to see him getting some food in. And then maybe I see another one came.
Of course.
Sparrows could fly so high. I mean, 9 floors. For the joy of seeing those little friends
Yeah.
visiting me. Because I just have to get on with it. Yeah? Magic. So, okay.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. So you've all picked a flower, and we've spoken of how it raises the joyous energy in us to give. And you know what? If we can actually receive, it does the same. Most of us are not terribly good at receiving. We want, we desire, we wish we had. But when we're given, we can't quite really say thank you in the way that really says that we really open arms received, you know? Like, can we go out there and receive the sunshine today fully, you know? So I'm going to invite you to exchange flowers with someone, and to do it with grace and with joy, and to say something, whatever. I'm not going to say what sort of thing you want to say. It could be one word. It doesn't matter. Something as you give and something as you receive. So this is a little practice, you know. Let's be practical. Services are devotional, and that's very important, but, you know, we also need to practice the service bit, don't we? So, yeah, I invite you just to give and receive your flowers, even though you've chosen the one you really wanted. So, thank you. If you'd like to return to your places. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that brought joy, the giving and the receiving. Oh, you look like you've got a wedding bouquet with that. It's great, isn't it? So, oh yeah. Sympathetic joy. Okay, so in a moment we're going to sing our second hymn, and it's another hymn of joy. So let's try and sing it joyously if we can. Well, if we can't, we can't. We'll do our best. So I've got the collection bowl here. I'm sure it costs quite a bit of money to keep a beautiful building like this going, as well as providing services for the community. So this is another practice in giving. Do we have an electronic one that goes around? That one over there? Oh, that will go around. Okay, you can go afterwards and put that. So what I would suggest, if you're not actually putting any cash, what's cash? You remember that? If you're not, oh yes, yeah, like to see a bit of cash. So if you're not actually putting any cash in here, bless it. Bless this bowl as it goes round. Each one of us has the authority to bless. It's not just those of us who are ordained can bless. So just bless the bowl and anything that's in it as it goes round during the hymn. So the hymn is in the Purple Book. It's 144, Sing, Sing for Joy. All right. We've looked at lots of quite a few ways already how to cultivate joy. It's something, although it is part of our deepest nature, it's something that we need to cultivate because somehow we've mostly forgotten our deepest nature. Somehow we get lost in all the conditioned ideas about ourselves and the world and other people. So we've talked about various ways of cultivating joy. Of course, laughter, and they're intertwined, aren't they? So, I mentioned a comedy club. And that can be a way to get the joy going. Music, of course, some music is so joyous, and we're going to sing a very joyous song at the end of the service today. Gratitude. Now, joy and gratitude, again, are very intertwined. When we start, some people will do like a gratitude journal or think of gratitude at the end of their day, what we're grateful for, and that can lift the joyous spirits within us. Beauty. Beauty's one of the things that brings me joy. I'm a painter. That's one of the ways my brain works is to really enjoy beauty. So there's music, the joy that music that we love can bring. Dance, moving the body in any way. My daughter's taking up running, and she's had a lot of mental health difficulties throughout her life. And she said to me the other day, "Why didn't somebody tell me all I had to do was run twice a week?" I mean, it's an oversimplification, but the difference that moving of the physical body, the body is, it gives us so much. It can give us stress. We can feel stress in the body, but also it can give us those endorphins, that, really lift mood. And if we're not able to, see a few people here have difficulty in getting around, dance from your chair. If you can't dance from your chair, you can dance in your head. Apparently the brain is affected by things you imagine in your head. So that can begin actually to give you the physical sensations of dancing. Play. When did you last play? Just play with something or someone, in whatever way you like. It can be naughty if you like, but make it playful. Be playful. And that's part of being creative as well, isn't it? Create things. Part of creating things is there has to be an element of play in there. Otherwise, the creative spirit can't come through. When I'm painting, I have Faye, who went to art college many years ago and has done lots of drawing and painting, and is a reasonably good draftswoman, you know, and she's really helpful. And then I have the little tiny girl that used to be called Feeny, was my nickname, and she just has to be brought into this process of painting. She's the one that chucks the paint all over the canvas and brings these new expressions that Faye can't quite do because that, you know, it's more formal. So the play, whatever way we can find to play and have fun. Have fun. We're allowed to have fun, you know. Just check yourselves out every now and again and think, okay, when did I last have a bit of fun? What can I do just to have a bit of fun? You know, fun seems, you know, it's frivolous, it's silly, it doesn't bring anything into the world, but it does. It brings so much into the world that is needed. Loosens us up. We're so tight, you know. I mean, I know I go around like this a lot. We have fun, we loosen up, we allow creativity to come through us in all sorts of ways, not just in the arts, but in the way we live in our lives. And hopefully in the way that we organise our communities, because we're pretty rubbish at that, frankly, when we look around. This community is accepting. There are some communities that are wonderfully organised, but generally in the world, we're not very good at organising our communities. So maybe fun, play can open up creative ways of thinking, of being. So let's just now have some quiet, the stillness to allow any joy within us to bubble up. And Kathy's going to play some joyful contemplative music, I think, just for a few minutes of quietness, just to integrate anything that has moved through you in our time together today. Thank you. That was so lovely. I felt like getting up and doing like a silly little ballet dance, but I didn't want to interrupt everyone else's process. It was really lovely, thank you. So, We're going to sing now our final song. And I invite you to, if you can stand, move about like this. We're not in an evangelical church. I love going to evangelical services. I do, because, you really get the spirit going. But to move around, if you can do it from sitting down, you don't have to stand, just to be with the music, enjoy the music. Now, I think most of you will know the chorus. It's a song that comes from the film The Life of Brian. And it was sung by a thief who was on the cross next to Brian when he was being crucified, an extremely cheerful thief. And the song is Always Look on the Bright Side of Life. So, I'm just looking for my words now. Yes, I seem to have lost my lyrics. I'll find them in a sec, don't worry. So, does everyone know the chorus? And whistling, a little bit of whistling would be greatly appreciated. So, Susie and I are going to sing or speak the verses. So, speak the verses. Sing, speak the verses.
You got the words?
I've got the words. I think I might. Some things in life are bad. Do you know the words?
If you know the words, come and
join us. Anyone that knows the words, come and join us.
The more the merrier.
Come.
Come on, Michael.
We start off with some.
Some things in life are bad.
No.
Cheer up, Brian. You know what they say? Some things in life are bad.
Yeah, that's
They make you really mad. Other things make you swear and curse. But when you're chewing on nice whistle, don't grumble, just whistle. And this will help things turn out for the best.
Yes. Well, we're going to do that all together.
first verse.
Yeah. We're going to do that again together. Yes. And we're going to be accompanied this time.
And then you're going to do the whistling and the
chorus. And so if you can stand or
if you
sit, whatever's comfortable.
don't have to stand.
But just so you can, Right. Thank you very much. Things in life are bad. They can make you mad. Other things just make you swear and curse. When you're chewing on life's gristle, don't grumble, give it a whistle. And this will help things turn out for the best. And always look on the bright side of life. Always look on the bright side of life. If life seems jolly rotten, there's something you've forgotten, and that's to laugh and smile and dance and sing. When you're in the dumps, don't be silly chumps. Just press your lips and whistle, that's the thing. And always look on the bright side of life. Always look on the bright side of life. For life is quite absurd, and death's the final word. You must always face the curtain with a bow. Forget about your sin, give the audience a grin. Enjoy it, it's your last chance anyhow. So always look on the bright side of life. Always look on the bright side of life. Life's a piece of grit when you look at it. Life's a laugh and death's a joke, it's true.
You'll see it's all a show. Keep them laughing as you go. Just remember that the last laugh is on you. So always look on the right side of life. Always look on the right side of life. Always look on the right side of life.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yes, you really give it, don't you, you lot? You really go for it. So, I'm just going to leave you. Now, calm down, Susie, please. I did. I said we'll have to say grit instead of shit because we're in church. So, there, I've said it now. So I'm going to finish with some words from another Sufi mystic, Jalaluddin Rumi. And he says, what's the difference between your experience of existence and that of a saint? The saint knows that the spiritual path is a sublime chess game with God, and that the beloved has just made such a fantastic move that the saint is now continually tripping over joy and bursting out laughing and saying, I surrender. Whereas, my dear, I'm afraid you still think you have 1,000 serious moves. And on that note, a joke from the 13th century. I'd like to thank everyone for having a joyous morning with me. It's been fantastic. Are there announcements that someone needs to make? Anybody?
I can make some.
Oh, right. Do you want me to announce the picnic thing, Susie, or are you going to announce that?
Yeah, I mean, after coffee, if you want to join us, Faye ordered the sunshine, which I thought was quite good. We're just going over to Pavilion Gardens, I think that's the nearest place. If you've brought a picnic to share, we're just going to hang out for a little while and enjoy each other's company for as long as you can make it. So everyone is very, very welcome. After coffee, just gather together and we'll just cross the road.
And I'm going to share my cards and book if anybody wants to look at them.
Yeah.
Because I like sharing them.
Cards with her.
You know, you do what you like, but I like sharing them.